They're the ones who pause before they speak, not because they're unsure of what to say, but because they're weighing every word, feeling its meaning before letting it go. They choose silence not out of shyness, but out of care, because they know words carry energy, and once released, they can't be taken back. You'll find them lost in thought sometimes, staring out the window as if they're watching something invisible. But what they're really watching is the movie playing in their mind, memories, questions, ideas, dreams, all overlapping in quiet harmony. They could be surrounded by laughter, music, conversation, and still, their mind would drift somewhere else, not out of boredom, but out of curiosity, because their thoughts are always reaching deeper, searching for meaning beneath the surface of every moment. These are the deep thinkers. They didn't choose this way of being, it chose them. Their minds are like oceans, endless, alive, calm above, but full of motion underneath. To them, every word holds layers, like echoes of stories untold. Every glance has a message, every silence has a reason. They can't just see what's happening, they feel it. They sense the why behind the smile, the hesitation in the voice, the truth hiding behind a casual, "I'm fine." Where others float on the surface of life, deep thinkers dive beneath, into the emotions, the patterns, the hidden meanings that most people never notice. And yet, that depth is both a blessing and a burden, because the more they understand, the more they feel. And sometimes, feeling everything means carrying more than they should. They're the kind of people who can listen to a stranger's story and carry that sadness home with them. Who can sit quietly and still sense when something is wrong in the air around them. It's not that they're fragile, they're just open. Open to life, open to meaning, open to all the things others have learned to ignore. And while that makes them wise beyond their years, it also makes the world a heavier place to live in. Because when you feel this deeply, you can't just exist, you absorb. You see not just what people do, but who they really are beneath it all. That's the paradox of deep thinkers. Their minds are their greatest gift, and sometimes their quietest prison. Inside the mind of a deep thinker, there's a quiet storm. Not chaotic, but endless. Thoughts move like tides, flowing in, pulling back, constantly shaping the shores of their understanding. They don't just think, they unfold every idea, peeling back layers until they reach something that feels true. A deep thinker can take the simplest moment, a random sentence, a passing expression, and build 1,000 meanings from it. It's not that they want to complicate life, it's that they can't help but explore it. Their mind is a room with no walls, where one thought leads to another, and another, until they've wandered so far inside themselves they forget where they began. They wonder about everything. Why people do what they do. Why we love what hurts us. Why we chase happiness as if it's running away. Why the world moves so fast but no one seems to be truly living. And even when they're silent, their mind is anything but still. They analyze not just what's said, but what's left unsaid. They notice tone, hesitation, the way someone avoids eye contact, or laughs just a little too loud to hide pain. They carry questions that most people never even think to ask, not because they're lost, but because they care to understand. To others, it might look like overthinking, but to a deep thinker, it's the only way they know how to exist. They can't simply accept things at face value. They have to dive in, dissect, connect, and make sense of it all. It's how they find meaning in a world that often feels shallow, how they create beauty out of chaos, and how they make peace with the noise that never stops inside their mind. Because for a deep thinker, silence isn't empty. It's full. Full of reflections, memories, philosophies, and emotions they can't always explain. They're the ones who stay up at night, not scrolling endlessly, but staring at the ceiling, replaying a conversation, wondering what it really meant. They don't move through life mindlessly, and they move through it mindfully. Every moment is a question, every experience a lesson, and while it may look like they live in their heads, and the truth is they live everywhere at once. In the past, in the present, in the possibilities that could have been. Their thoughts are their universe, and though it's vast and beautiful, it can be a lonely place sometimes. For a deep thinker, the world is never just what it seems. It's a mosaic of hidden emotions, of beauty tangled with pain, They feel the weight of everything. The joy in someone's smile, the heartbreak behind someone's silence. They can sense tension in a room before a single word is spoken. It's both a blessing and a quiet ache. Because feeling deeply means seeing what others overlook. It means understanding people who don't even understand themselves. It means noticing the smallest details, the kind that break your heart and make you fall in love with life at the same time. When a deep thinker loves, they love with their whole being. Not casually, not halfway. They dive in completely, searching for connection that feels real. But real connections are rare, and that's where the pain begins. They often find themselves misunderstood, too intense, too quiet, too in their head. But they can't help it. Their depth doesn't have an off switch. When they care, they absorb. Other people's moods, emotions, and pain flow into them like ink into water. They carry those feelings home, think about them long after everyone else has moved on. It's exhausting to think, feel, and analyze everything. But it's also beautiful, because this is how they find meaning. How they create art, empathy, and wisdom from the things that most people simply pass by. Deep thinkers see tragedy, but they also see poetry in that tragedy. They see hope in despair, light in the smallest flicker of kindness. Their hearts are built for depth, and while it can drown them at times, it's also what makes them truly alive. They may retreat into silence, and not because they're cold, but because they're full. Full of thoughts, questions, and emotions they're still trying to understand. To love a deep thinker is to love someone who sees more than you say, who listens between the lines, who notices when you're breaking, even behind your smile. And though they often feel alone in their depth, it's that same depth that allows them to connect with the world in a way few others can. Because the truth is, they're not just thinkers. They're feelers, dreamers, translators of the human soul. And even when the world feels too loud, too shallow, too fast, they keep searching quietly for something real enough to stay. Deep thinkers don't just look at life, they study it. They question the things most people accept. They find meaning where others see routine. Where someone sees rain, they see the rhythm of a world cleansing itself. Where someone hears silence, they hear thoughts echoing louder than sound. Where someone sees an ending, they see transformation, a quiet invitation to begin again. They live in a world within a world, a place filled with connections, symbols and invisible threads that tie everything together. When they look at someone, they don't just see a face, Dwayne, they see the history behind the eyes. The fears, the dreams, the untold stories hiding in the pauses between words. That's why deep thinkers often feel older than their age. They carry layers of understanding that most people don't even realize exist. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. And while that awareness can be heavy, it's also what gives their life a rare kind of beauty. They find joy in small things. A moment of sunlight through the window. A late-night conversation that actually means something. The comfort of realizing they're not the only one who feels this way. They move slowly, not because they're lost, but because they notice. They notice how everything connects, how choices ripple through people's lives, how words can heal or destroy. Their mind is a map, constantly tracing patterns, linking ideas, trying to make sense of this strange, chaotic world. And in a society obsessed with speed and noise, they're the quiet observers reminding us that depth still matters. That feeling deeply isn't weakness, it's awareness. That silence isn't emptiness, it's wisdom choosing when to speak. They may not always fit in, but they don't need to. Because their place isn't in the crowd, it's in the meaning behind it. And if you are one of them, one of those quiet souls who think too much, feel too deeply, and wonder if anyone else sees the world the way you do, you're not strange, you're not broken, you're awake. In a world that rarely stops to think, your depth is not your burden, it's your light. If you've ever been told you think too much, don't see it as a flaw. It just means your mind refuses to settle for shallow answers. You're the kind of person who looks for truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Who searches for meaning even in pain. Who finds beauty not in perfection, but in understanding, and yes, it can be exhausting. Because while others can switch their thoughts off, your mind keeps wandering, asking questions no one else thinks to ask. But that's also what makes you different. That's what makes your presence rare. You bring perspective, you bring awareness, you bring depth to to a world that often forgets to look beyond the surface. So don't silence that part of you. Don't apologize for thinking deeply, for feeling too much, for caring about things that others overlook. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more minds like yours. Minds that pause, reflect, and see what others miss. So take a breath. Keep wondering. Keep feeling. Keep thinking. And if this spoke to you, if you see yourself in these words, maybe share it with someone who understands. Because somewhere out there, another deep thinker is listening too. And they just needed to be reminded that they're not alone.